I agree that you should give everything your 100%. But at some point, if it's not working out, you need to learn to let that thing go. For me, that was my first car. It was a 2012 Camaro RS V6. Love that car. That was my first car. My dad helped me finance it. Obviously, he's told me, right, you're going to work, you're going to make all the monthly payments. All that was on me. And that car was probably, I felt like that car was haunted, man. I'm not going to That car, for 2 years, it was a beauty to drive. I always got compliments on it. I loved driving the thing. But after 2 years, it would randomly shut off on me. It wouldn't turn on. They got to a point where I had to trick the system into turning. I literally had to disconnect the battery, connect it again, and then it would turn on. And I would do that again and again and again and again. And then I started tasting it all over the place, all the mechanics I could find just to tell me what was wrong with it.
Alan, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, man. It's a pleasure to be on here.
Thank you so much. We're really, really happy to have you here and, for taking the time to actually allow us to give you an interview. So how old are you?
I am 26 years old.
Great. And where are you from?
I am originally from Nogales, Arizona.
So what do you do for a living?
Right now, I currently work in housekeeping and in Club Rancho Sahuarita. It's a club for people that pay HOA in their houses and stuff. It's a nice club, but this is just temporary while I finish my school up.
Oh, nice. Where are you going to school for?
Nursing.
Wow, that is really good. Where are you going? Pima or are you going to the UA?
Pima. It's the 2-year program. I'm trying to become a registered nurse.
That's awesome.
So it's probably my dream job because I do like working with my hands. I also like the value of just, nursing is, I think, something that I would be satisfied doing. Even though I know it's not, all roses and candy. It's going to have its challenges, but it's definitely something I want to do.
So far, what are some of the challenges that you have encountered when it comes to becoming a nurse?
Definitely the time. I'm not the type of person that's able to do full-time student. I don't have my parents really backing me up in that regard. So I have to kind of have to work for a living and full-time at the moment. Just because of car payments, mortgages, clothing, paying for books, So it's going to take me longer than it should, but I feel anything worth doing to take this time.
So you're doing full-time here at the clubhouse and also full-time for school?
No, part-time. Part-time would just be impossible.
I've had people that have done that. I'm like, oh my God, do you even sleep?
Well, that's my problem, man. You literally just work, school, you don't even sleep. You don't even have time to eat. Man.
Right. So they only have 2 years. Well, it's a 2-year program. How many years or months do you have left?
Right now, on pace about 2 years. I've already completed all my general education. So that's out of the way. Now it's just the actual college, the clinicals, all the practices, the actual classes that involve nursing. All the general education is done.
What would be your ideal position once you graduate? Where would you like to work?
So I would like to start off as a registered nurse, working either the ER, a night shift. I would love to do pediatrician, working in a clinic. But my ideal position would be to get my BSN. So after I get my registered nurse, go an additional 6 to 8 months of school, get that, and work in administration, clinical administration.
Yeah, that would be great. But now you're mentioning working at night to do the ER. Mm-hmm. That would be scary. The type of people that you would get. I know that, you literally, everyone that's on medical field, they're heroes, they do so much for us.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't even want to imagine what you get, in an ER. If you could pick your initial monthly or yearly salary, how much would you like to make as a nurse?
Honestly, optimally, as a registered nurse, I would love to make anything between $60,000 to $80,000 a year. Yep. Mm-hmm.
What social class?
I would say it was middle class.
Any challenges growing up as a middle class?
Definitely. Middle class is definitely very budget orientated. At least for me, it was. That's just what I feel it is for a lot of people. My dad has been in retail all his life, always been a manager. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So I was very blessed with that, but we were always on a budget. Sometimes he couldn't splurge for extra clothing, a trip, the beach, while other people of higher classes could. So that's definitely the problem, especially during holidays, when the season is slow in retail, that's when the budget was either a little tighter or bigger.
Would your family talk about money in general?
No. Throughout most of my younger years, I want to say up until age 15, 14, whatever money problems I would have, they always took outside. Of course, those just being, sometimes everyone explodes and they have their arguments right in front of us, but they would always take it back outside.
So you mentioned that they would never talk about money, but how about later on? Did they ever teach you? I mean, like you say, you have really good work ethic, but what about managing money down the road when you actually got your job? Would the conversation switch from never talking about money to like, okay, now we can talk about money. Here is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes. I was introduced to budgeting per se. Bills, like this, you have to take away this certain amount, keep this in savings just in case of a rainy day, stuff like that. They definitely showed me this is what we pay. This is why you couldn't have these nicer things that maybe other kids could have had during your age. They showed me all those things, and I definitely understood because they waited until like I actually understood how hard it is to actually make money. It is not easy, especially working entry-level jobs.
I think that at your age, I would describe that as liquid gold when you're actually able to see how much parents pay for certain things. And so your parents pretty much went ahead and told you like, hey, look, we had to pay the electrical bill and here's the amount. So just so you know how much it really costs. That's awesome. Do you recall your first interaction with money?
I want to say my first interaction besides schooling, what they teach you, dollar bills and stuff like that, obviously those close to that. And it's definitely my first retail job, my first job ever, sorry. Definitely like cashing. There's a difference between counting money in school and paying for something small like a donut to actually making a transaction, actually working with other people's, not just yours. That was definitely my first interaction. It didn't go too well, but I definitely learned.
Did you make any mistakes?
Well, of course. I was just thrown in at the register because I was only seasonal help, but I had to help because we were at the time, the store was under renovation. So it being under renovation and not having enough staff, obviously I was just thrown on there without very minimal training. I obviously made a mistake, like I sort of doubled the transaction when I shouldn't have. The transaction was only worth $100. I inputted $200, so the register ended up becoming a Obviously, I got in trouble for it. But I'm really new.
But at the end of the day, it was not like you actually gave an extra $100. It was you duplicated, making it seem like you were short, but you were not really short.
Yes, I was not really short. Thank God.
What is the best financial advice you have ever received, and who gave you that advice?
Best financial advice is definitely from my father, and that it has to do with budgeting. He basically told me, he always save money for a rainy day. He always learned that because not having anything in savings, especially when something big can come up, like for example, for him, we had a 2006 Dodge Durango. Always having problems, always. And it was a suspension, the fuel pump would go out. One time the whole suspension bar needed working. And that's not a simple repair, it's not an oil change, just like, what, $600 back then? A fuel pump. So he always had that money for the car. Because why? Without a car, you can't do anything these days. I mean, you can certainly walk and take a bus, but that's very inconvenient, especially when you have a car that's broken down, Hit your fuel like a lot. I guess what I mean. But he just told me save money for the rainy day because you never know when you're going to need it.
Now, on the other side of the spectrum, what is the worst financial advice you have ever received, and who gave you that advice?
Now, this is going to sound a little nitpicky, or a little weird, unorthodox, if you will. Definitely that phrase, treat yourself. I was with this girl. It was my birthday. And she was trying to convince me to buy this, like a $200 watch, something like that. At the time, I was only 19. And she was like, why don't you just treat yourself? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I only have $250 in my bank account right now. What do you mean? You want me to spend the whole money? Like, what does that mean exactly? And she's like, spend the whole check. I've done that. And I'm like, well, you've done it, but like, look at our circumstances. Like, she was 21, 22, living with her parents. No bills to pay, no car pays, nothing. She worked just to work, to have something to do after school, after her college, But I couldn't do that. Like, I was paying gas, I was paying my car off, insurance, So I don't understand that phrase. It's very circumstantial on the person's, where they come from, their class, like what their parents taught you. It's definitely a phrase. I don't understand it, I guess.
Now, what is the best financial decision you have ever made?
Definitely, this was during COVID, same. My first car that I had was pretty much done at that point. We'll talk about that later, probably.
Okay.
But that car was done, so it was during COVID. No ride really, and I worked in Tucson at the time, which is about the job was 30 minutes away from where I live. Now the Suntran and buses like that, they don't really come and go all the way to work to where I live. So I'm like, I'm gonna need a car transport. Now, do I want to finance one? What do I want to do here? And during COVID, those was one of the worst times you could probably get into the car market. It still kind of is. So I thought to myself, okay, let me look around, let me shop around, let me be patient. So for a while, I actually rented a car. Cheap Nissan Sentra, just to avoid having to just go out there and buy something out of desperation. And evidently, my mom told me, she called me up, she was like, hey, your uncle, he's willing to sell you this car. It was a 2004 Nissan Armada for $3,500. I did my due diligence. I looked up the trade value, saying maybe he was ripping me off. I don't know, right? Because the car was old. I think it had around 150,000 miles, and for 2004, that's pretty good.
That's really good.
So I looked up the trade value, everything. I asked him, called him up, hey, it's car any problems. I looked up the trade value, and the car was actually worth about $2,000 more. So I'm like, okay, you want $3,500 in cash? We're definitely gonna do this. I should just take this. It's too good to pass up. And I did. And I avoided having to buy a car during one of the worst times ever to make any type of big loan like that. Involving mortgages, car payments, financing, everything was through the roof. So for those 2-3 years, I had a very reliable car. I didn't have to worry about car payments. And to this day, this car's still running. The car's still running.
I think that is kind of cool to let the audience know how I actually approached you, because I was going to the gym and then I saw you pulling on a Mustang it's a really nice, I saw that it's a performance, right?
GT.
It's a GT, okay?
Yeah.
And then I saw you coming out and I look at you and I'm like, how do you do this? Like, how are you able to drive that? And the way that you reply to me, like, really got you. I'm like, wow, you really know, your monthly payment. You allocate all of your pennies on a specific structure that you're able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you still have that Armada, and now you have this car too. Would you consider that the car that you have right now was a good investment?
Yes, mainly because I wanted something that I knew I wasn't gonna have to worry about for a while. And for me, that was definitely one of the times where it felt like, okay, because I wasn't looking for a Mustang originally. I was looking for something like a Jeep. And then I saw it and I'm like, this is something that I never got. I want to enjoy now while I'm single, at least for now. Because what I feel like is a lot of people don't treat themselves, and I hate that phrase, until they're very old in age. And by that point, I don't know if I'll enjoy it the same way I would have as old. To each their own. I obviously see a lot of retired people with Porsches or all these fancy cars, Corvettes. And I'm like, that's cool, but I don't think that's cool. I think when I'm retired, I just want something nice and comfortable. I'm just able to some type of Kia, so I'm old.
I always say this on every single video, I think that I've said this. Maybe I missed a couple, but on the Moneymalistic channel, there is no right or wrong answer. Everything you say is right, everything you say is wrong, because we're all different, and that's the beauty of this. We all get to describe what we think, how we feel. And like I said, questions are the same.
Yeah.
Well, the answers are, really, really different from one individual to another. So
everything's fluid.
Yeah. Now on the other side of the coin, what is the worst financial decision you have ever made?
Definitely holding on to something that you should most likely let go of. Okay. I agree that you should give everything at 100%. But at some point, if it's not working out, you need to learn to let that thing go. For me, that was my first car. It was a 2012 Camaro RS V6. Love that car. That was my first car. My dad helped me finance it. Obviously, he's told me, right, you're going to work, you're going to make all the monthly payments. All that was on me. And that car was probably... I felt like that car was haunted, man. I'm not gonna lie. That car, for 2 years, it was a beauty to drive. I always got compliments on it. I loved driving the thing. But after 2 years, it would randomly shut off on me. It wouldn't turn on. They got to a point where I had to trick the system into turning. I literally had to disconnect the battery, connect it again, and then it would turn on. And I would do that again and again and again and again. And then I started taking it all over the place, all the mechanics I could find, just to tell me what was wrong with it. And nobody could. One mechanic would tell me it was the oxygen sensors. I would fix the oxygen sensors, $600. About 2 months later, they would do the same thing. They wouldn't start again. Take it to another mechanic, and they would tell me straight up, hey man, there's nothing wrong with this car. We don't know what to do with it. Take it back. And I had to tow it that time. all the way to the Chevy manufacturer because I had tried so many mechanics up to that point that I was like, okay, and Chevy can't figure out what's wrong with it, then I don't know what else I'm going to do. Came back to me, towed it back, and about 3 months later, same thing. So it was just a cycle, just running and fixing things, and then didn't want it to be fixed. I would tell them, hey, this thing, it's popping up the stability track in these lanes. And then they'd be like, what's stability track? It never came on. Like, can you show us? I'm like, I can't duplicate it right now. And then, it was just a mess.
It was from an actual dealership then?
Yes. Oh, actually, no.
Because I thought that, by the way that you describe it, I thought that was from a lot. Just someone, that has 30 cars, 50 cars, and then you sell them. But you actually went to an actual dealership.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a lot car by the end.
And it didn't come with any warranty? I mean, I know there was a used car, but still.
Well, that actually adds to the whole worst financial. I didn't actually get the warranty. Because I'm like, damn, like, I'm going to be fine, Like, it's almost a brand new car because I got this in 2015. It didn't have many miles. I'm like, what's the worst that can happen?
And how many miles were in the car at the time that you bought it?
Driven around 10,000 miles.
The bad thing is that everything started happening after 2 years.
So I still owed. I still had like two years to pay off. So I was making payments on the car and it wasn't turning on. That was one of the worst feelings I think you could ever experience.
What was your monthly payment at the time?
$323.
Okay, not bad.
But I was only there because of my dad co-signing that.
So how much did you actually ended up spending between, all the mechanics, all the parts, everything, towing the vehicle?
Mm-hmm.
How much did you pay?
The car's MSRP was about $25,000, right? So that's not including sales tax. So with everything, APR, the actual car was probably what, $28,000, $29,000 alone. I estimated I paid like $35,000 for everything.
So $7,000 extra on repairs.
And that's the lost money because the car never got fixed. I had to sell it like that.
How do you get rid of it?
I sold it to a friend. He was like, hey, I know this car's a piece of garbage. I'll take it off your hands. I'll try and fix it. And to this day, this car is still not turning on. It shuts off on him at random times. It starts shaking like if it was in an earthquake, trembling. But not my problem anymore.
What is, like an extra step of precaution that you would do for your next car? You would buy the warranty?
Well, yes, I bought the warranty stuff. Bumper to bumper. I'm like, and definitely, I would say, spurge a little extra, like wait, like go ahead and if you're definitely buying a used car, take it to a mechanic before, make sure he checks it out because you can't trust him to the shows, man. And in my opinion, right? Like you cannot trust him. So take it to a mechanic, have him run a diagnostic, tell him, hey man, is anything going to give me any problems 3-4 years from now that's not regularly maintenance, such as brake pads, wheel issues, stuff like that. Definitely, that's one of my advices.
Great. So how would you describe your relationship with money? And are you comfortable with your current financial situation?
To your first question, I would say my relationship with money is fluid. I like money. Everybody likes money, right? Like I said, money equals time. But I wouldn't say it's my priority. And my priority will always be feelings fulfilled at the end of the day. Like I actually did something, like I meant something to this person or this interaction where I had this person who was, it felt meaningful to me. I want meaning in my life and I don't really get that from money. But like I said, money is very important. But I do feel like I have a very fluid relationship. Sometimes I wish I had more money. Sometimes I wish I had but I'm fine with what I have, Let's something how I feel about it.
And I really like that you have a plan, to work things out in the long term. You want to become a nurse, you know exactly where you would like to work. So I think you just have to be patient and give time some time, and eventually you'll get there. The roots. If you can go back in time and change one financial decision, which one would it be and why?
Just giving up a little bit earlier on that car. Definitely. I definitely would say, you know what? Enough's enough. After I realized that, after Chevy told me basically, hey, we can't even figure out what's wrong with this thing. After I had 3 mechanics tell me that, I should have been like, all right, you know what? Yes, I still owed it at the time, but I should have been like, let's just leave it, stop spending money on it, and figure it out. I don't know. Like get another like cheap $3,000 car like I did in the COVID hit, and stop sinking more money into that car because it was just too lame pit at that time.
You spend a total of $35,000. If you were to go back in time and someone tells you like, hey, here's $35,000, what will you do with that money?
I would not get that car. less one thing for sure. If it was $35,000, I would definitely use about $10,000 to get myself a beater, something that I know is gonna last me a while. Something Toyota, I could Toyota Corolla, those cheaper cars, maybe high mileage, but I don't know anything in it. Barely viable, yes. And definitely put the rest in savings, so that you could either pay off some of those school loans that I might have in the future. So if anything comes up like a rainy day, or maybe even try and save that for an actual mortgage on a real house, like a dream house, my final destination.
All right, man. So now we're going to go over our first section called Would You Rather. I'm going to give you this container. You're going to be pulling 5 numbers, one at a time. Once you read it to the camera, you just toss it to the side. Sweet. Whenever you're ready. 10. Would you rather have unlimited money but no free time, or have unlimited time but very little money?
I'll just go over unlimited time. Yep, definitely. I feel like with unlimited time, I can either, I don't know, I can do something to somehow make more income maybe, or I don't know, I guess I would just enjoy life. Like, who really cares about the money with unlimited time? I don't know. That's a really tough one though. But I definitely agree with the second one. I think that aligns more with who I am.
Let's go over the second one.
19.
Would you rather donate your time or donate your money?
I think time is too precious, man. To waste it, to let it go to waste.
Straight answer. I like it. Let's go over the third one. Number 9. Would you rather work from home while a rock band is playing in your garage for your whole shift, or work at the office where you cannot leave your desk, other than to eat or to use a restroom, but your boss is super nice?
Definitely with the rock band. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I'm one of those people that can multitask well, and music really helps me concentrate. I love music.
Let's go with the fourth one then. Would you rather borrow money from your parents at a 0% APR or a 0% rate, or get a loan from the bank at a 5.99 rate?
Honestly, go with the bank, just because I know people are like, damn, I'm crazy APR. But I don't like relying on people. Definitely not as I'm older, especially my parents, because I know that they've done so much for me already, and I don't want to feel like if I can't pay off the bank, I'd be like, who cares? It's the bank. But if I can't pay off my parents, I definitely feel like they would be disappointed in me. And that's, I feel like as a kid, that was one of the worst things I ever had, when my parents would just grab me and tell me, we're disappointed in you. I would rather take a beating from them than them telling me they're disappointed in it. It was demoralizing. Still is to this day.
Let's go over the last one.
7.
Number 7 is, would you rather never have to worry about money again, or never have to worry about your health again?
I'd rather have to not worry about my health ever again. Because not having to worry about my health, I can just concentrate on money, or concentrate on time.
All right, now we're going to go over our next section called What Do You Think? It is the same process. Just grab 5 pieces of paper, one at a time. This one is more about opinions and thoughts on money. So same process whenever you're ready.
21.
What do you think? Is it better to pay cash for everything or pay over time?
I would definitely say for something small, anything under $1,000, I would definitely say pay cash if you can. But to answer your question directly, any big payment, like say anything over $1,000, I feel like without credit in this country, you really can't do much. Because are you really gonna have $230,000 to get a house? Damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you really gonna have $40,000 for your car? Are you really gonna? And you don't have insurance, especially. Like, are you really gonna have 2,000, 3,000 to say something bad happens when you are? Yeah. But I feel like building your credit and being able to, when you finally do make those big purchases, to get a low APR, a good monthly payment is important.
Let's go over the second one.
Number 17.
Is it good or bad to buy things with 0% interest per specific time, such as 12 or 24 months?
Is it a good or bad thing?
Yeah, so
I think that's great. Great. Because, honestly, the worst part about a credit card is that interest rate and that APR. It's the part that I think very few people understand when they're first starting out. They're like, oh, that's 5%, that's nothing, but it's a lot. It can add up really fast.
Let's go over the third one. 4. What do you think? Should we all have a financial advisor in order to have a better understanding of our money?
I think you should be your best financial advisor. Just because I feel like just because you don't, I wouldn't trust anybody to tell me to do, like, except my parents, obviously, it's only right or wrong. Like, I feel like that's something I need to learn. Like, I need to make these mistakes to be able to learn from them and do things properly. If I have someone guiding me the whole time, but am I really learning? You know what I'm saying? Am I really, like, they say you have to crawl before you can walk, you know, you have to fall down to learn how to get back up. I feel like making mistakes like that, or at least learning from other people.
Let's go with the fourth one.
12.
What would you consider good and bad debt?
Bad debt, I would say you're trying to buy something you cannot afford. If it's more than your yearly salary, I think this is something you can't afford, excluding the house, right? Because you're never going to make enough unless you're a doctor or some type of celebrity or in the entertainment industry, like YouTuber even maybe. You're never going to make enough to be able to fully pay off your house in like 3 to 4 years. But I say that's bad debt. Or any debt where, like, for example, me, you know, making a minimal payment or something I could have just paid off at the end of the month. I think that's also bad debt. Good debt, I think, is a mortgage.
Let's go with the last one. At what point in time should everyone start thinking about retirement?
That's like 30s, 30, 35. Start thinking about 401ks, saving certain money aside. For example, you don't want, for example, for me, if I don't have any kids, I want to make sure I have enough money for me to be able to retire. Obviously with my pension or with 401k, whatever it is, but having even more money on the side.
What would you describe as your top 3 financial goals right now?
One, I would say making enough money or start saving up for a down payment on a house. I think in my word. Number 2 would probably pay off my car in about 2 years. 3, I would definitely say help my parents out a little bit when I do have a career or I'll actually stable for them mainly for repairs on their house. Because I know they want to keep their house and retire in the house.
Finally, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I would say money is very important, but I don't believe it to be the most important thing in life. I think there are it's more beneficial as money to sort of have a open relationship with money.
Alan, thank you so much for your time.
Really appreciate it too. Thank you for having me on.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please support the channel by subscribing, commenting, and liking the video. The question of the day is the following. Let me know your opinions, thoughts, comments, and constructive criticism in the comment section, and I will see you guys on the next video.